God is the ego, brought to its fullest expression, and then objectified for use by the soul towards achieving a higher state of being and a more expansive, integrated consciousness. Satan, or Satan, is the ego brought to its state of least expression, where all desires are denied, subdued, and restricted due to subjective survival, contracted and isolated consciousness. So what we've got here is we've got a situation where God is he who expands his consciousness and he who gives of himself and lets the ego be very large. But while doing that, objectifies said ego and seeing the soul as something near and dear, and then the ego being something that one objectifies and deals with and uses. And at one point, even the soul is in the same position, and that's the destruction of the soul, which you have to let Creator perform on you. You have to allow the soul to be destroyed, so that, and consumed, because it says in the Talmud that one of the rabbis on Saturday, which you're not allowed to work on the Saturday, if the egg, falls out of the nest, then it rolls down, then you're not allowed to pick it up because you're not allowed to work on the Sabbath. So he puts a bowl over it. And I believe, if memory serves, I believe his name was Yeshua. But anyway, he puts a bowl over it to save it for consumption on Sunday. So your soul's consumed by an entity upon death, and it's going to, either be one entity or another, or there might be more than one, but this is telling you that your soul is consumed. You have to allow that, and then you reach a point where you do not exist. When you reach the point where you don't exist, you're in the state of Creator. You're in semblance of form with Creator, because you are only bestowing, because you're thinking not of yourself, only of others. You're objectifying everything, and you're what? Filling it with delight, and you're what? You're caring for it. You are caring for it. As a proper disciplinarian who disciplines out of love, not out of wanting to harm somebody. All right, now, Hasatan is the ego, in contrast, again, brought to its state of least expression. So it's a restriction, a recoiling of the ego, who is Hasatan. And it is an aesthetic life where one is like only wears a robe and only holds a bowl out and eats whatever is put in the bowl, and and all desires are denied. I almost every single religion does that. Deny your desires, deny, and minimize your ego and deny your desires. And then, but the main thing is then you subjugate that ego, and you're inside it, so you cannot see it, and you cannot care for it, and you cannot deal with it, and you can't offer it up on the altar of sacrifice to Creator. You cannot offer yourself to anybody, because you don't have the ability to say, well, somebody needs your help. You can't help them. You need help yourself. Whereas the ego that's expanded can help everybody. The ego that's restricted can help no one. And so there you have and you're subjective. You're inside of it. So, and it's very survival oriented, and it's contracted and isolated, and it's an isolated consciousness. Now, we're not saying good, bad, or whatever. We're saying that these are the different states, and some people want that, and some people don't. Some people, whatever makes you happy is what you're going to do. And there's permutations on this. I mean, you could take some of those integers, like objectified or subjective, and you could switch them around. You could get a permutation of that situation, and there's, it becomes probably a mathematical thing at that point. So it's very interesting. Kabbalah and Merkabah is very, very interesting. Now I'd like to give you a portion of our manifestation seminar called The Miracle, and it's see yourself as so big. The job for which you are applying is easily accomplished the moment you step through the door. Envision yourself as so powerful that a simple, well-rehearsed signature saves a forest. Know yourself as having so much integrity that all beings around you heal miraculously in your presence. Disclaimers in order here. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed, intended exclusively for entertainment purposes.